FightHype.com, here with Breadman Edwards. Some minutes before Julian's about to weigh in. How you feeling today, man?
Good, man. Just ready to get it over with so he can get some food in his stomach.
Got a couple questions to ask you. So yesterday, we posted up videos of the weigh-in and everything. A couple people thought that Jermall Charlo looked dry. Do you think he looked dry?
You know what? Honestly, man, all these kids are a little dry. You know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, everybody's cutting at least 15 pounds if they tell you the truth. So I really, you know, Julian probably a little dry too, if you're going to be honest. You know, it's boxing, you know. We'll see.
So Julian yesterday, he's a little, I don't want to say short. You know, it just looked like, you know, he's ready. What's his mentality right now? You know, what do you see in your fighter right now?
You mean short as far as his temper?
Yeah.
I think he's fine. He's where I need him to be at mentally. You know, he's focused. It's a little bit nerve tapping to keep having to do things, and you're restricting your calories slightly. You know what I mean? So he has. I mean, he ate yesterday, but obviously he didn't eat a full course meal.
Right.
You know, he's just eating like healthy, you know, fruits, vegetables, and things like that. So, and then everybody's wanting things from him, so he's ready to, you know, get it over with and get in the ring.
Right, and it probably doesn't help that he's got people asking him questions, probably a lot of people asking him the same questions.
Everybody wants to know where the hotel is at and things like that. It's not easy, you know. At some point he's going to have to just give his phone up and just kind of be selfish and take care of the task at hand.
Now, is this the biggest stage he's fought on, in your opinion? I mean, I know he's fought in Vegas before, but just kind of...
This is his biggest fight. This is his first title shot, you know. But every fight is important because you can't, if you don't win them to get to that point, then you know you don't get to this point. So every fight is important like that.
Is this probably the most media attention you think he's got? You
Yes.
know, yeah.
Yes.
How do you respond to that? Like, how do you deal with the media? You know,
I try to be humble and just respectful and just, you know, obviously it's an obligation. Obviously somebody's cutting a big check for PR to have everybody here, so. You know, you can't complain about not getting the notoriety and the paychecks you want and then don't want to do interviews. So I understand that it's part of your obligation. So, you know, I don't have a problem with it.
as a trainer, you know, obviously the fighter's 100% focused right now, but as a trainer, like, what's your mentality going into a fight of this magnitude and just kind of going through fight week, going through the progressions of, you know, media, you have to be here, you have to be there. I mean, are you just anxious to get the fight on as well?
I wouldn't say anxious, but you have to be super serious. You know, I don't drink before the fight. I don't do too much, you know. You got to be concentrated. Anything can pull you off of your square. You know what I mean? I'm very, very conscious of it. So I don't do certain things before a fight. I really don't. You know, I'm very careful with that. You know, I don't talk to everybody because everybody has like an idea of how you should do the fight. You know, what game plan Julian should come up with and things like that. So as a trainer, you got to be super careful. I don't touch any alcohol. I don't do too much. It's not a vacation for me. It's a boxing match, you know, and if he loses, you know, everybody coming out here for a vacation, it won't be fun, you know, so I take it serious.
Is there a lot of people from Philly that came here for this fight?
Yeah. They keep calling our phones, asking us, where's this and where's that. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate the love that he got. The city's riding behind him, man. I appreciate that.
Right, so that's good. Definitely sounds like a double-edged sword, though. You guys said you had a long camp. You guys mentioned it a few times. Obviously, we know you had a long camp. You've been waiting for this fight for like a year and a half, 2 years now. Is Julian 100% healthy going into this fight?
He's as healthy as every fighter has something nicked with him. And he don't have no injuries or anything like that. Once he rehydrates, gets his vitamins in him, gets, you know, some carb up, he's going to be ready to go. I don't make no excuses, man. Time off for injury, whatever. It is what it is in boxing. You know what I'm saying? This is what we wanted, and if things don't work out our way, I'm gonna shake their hand, and that's just gonna be that. There's no excuses. I don't talk no negativity. He's as good as he has to be for this fight, and that's just that.
All right, last thing. Bernard Hopkins has his final fight next week. Can you kind of reflect on his career a little bit?
Julian always says that Bernard Hopkins fought one of the perfect fights that he's ever seen against Felix Trinidad. And he watched that fight all the time. He's like, Steve, Bernard actually was absolutely perfect that bullfight. And he studies Bernard. And we were walking to LA Live, and Bernard walked up to him, and he shook his hand, and he gave him well wishes. He's the greatest fighter in the history of this city, besides maybe Joe Frazier. He's top 3. Top 3 or 4 middleweights to ever live. I mean, it's a great legacy. And who can fight for 30 years? I'll tell you one thing, Julian Williams definitely don't want to fight for 30 years. He wants to be done by the time he's 33 or 34 years old. So he's an amazing athlete, you know. That's all you can say.